Welcome to Zonie Living. Our guest today is a powerful woman whose impact is known the world over. In corporate America in the early 1980s, women were wearing suits with huge shoulder pads, making a larger presence in what had previously been mostly a man's space. Martha Mayhood Mertz was one of these women, working hard and happy to be there. But she wondered why the women around her, whom she considered to be skilled and inspirational, did not commonly rise to the ranks of leadership. Well, this bothered her, so she did something about it. And because of Martha, women are encouraged, acknowledged, and celebrated for their leadership qualities all over the world today. I'd like you to meet ATHENA Leadership Program founder Martha Mayhood Mertz, joining us from Florida. Hi, Martha, are you there?
Thank you, Bonnie. I'm thrilled to be here. And actually, I'm in Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Because I moved from Sedona about exactly a year ago to Alexandria, where my family is.
Oh, my apologies. Well,
No
great
problem.
to have you this morning. Martha, it's such an honor to speak with you today. I so admire your unwavering courage and steadfast efforts to support and encourage women to rise into their leadership potential and then celebrate them when they get there. Tell us about the workforce of the 1980s and why you saw a need for change.
Well, I was asked to become a member of the board of the Lansing, Michigan Regional Chamber of Commerce. And when I got there, I was the only woman on the board. And that was kind of the way it was everywhere in that area of the country. And actually, now I know in every part of the country, women hadn't yet been able to acquire the kinds of leadership title and position that was required for people to be in those spaces. And that, my colleagues told me, meant that women weren't leaders. But I knew women were leaders because they were all around me. And sometimes there wasn't a title or a position. Sometimes their ideas were so compelling and so interesting and drew people to them, which I started to recognize as what I thought real leadership looked like. So we put together the ATHENA Award as a way to lift up one outstanding example of a woman as a leader in our community every year. And so people could be inspired by this woman and be drawn to what that kind of leadership looked like. It didn't mean somebody way up in the clouds. It meant somebody working at your elbows doing the kinds of things that you did so that it would inspire other women to find their voice and achieve their full potential as leaders.
Absolutely achievable.
And that was in 1982. I like to say I was 12, but that isn't quite true.
Yeah, me too. Well, I also like to say if you are in a game that you can't win, create your own game, which is exactly what you did. You created the ATHENA Awards program and started recognizing women who excelled in their field, who gave back to their community, and who mentored other women. And I love this part. You had 10 ATHENA Awards created, which are beautiful, by the way, because you thought that after a decade, so one every year, there would no longer be a need to recognize women separately. We'd all be playing nicely together in the business world and recognized equally. But tell us what you experienced.
Well, that is such a true story, and it's been a long time ago, but there were 10 sculptures made, and they were hand poured by an artist I knew who was a friend. And it's true. We thought in 10 years, once people understood how good women were at these leadership qualities, that they would be hired for important positions throughout the community and taken seriously as leaders. I expected it to be over that quickly. But it hasn't been. And actually, if you want to look at things today, there are still a lot of disappointing but similar circumstances for women today. So that part didn't happen, but the ATHENA Award is a tribute to the fact that women are leaders. and that it has been going strong for 40 years, more than that,
Amazing.
across this country and beyond. And the community comes together to celebrate and inspire people. So if anybody who believes that they have leadership potential but haven't reached that place yet, let them continue to believe in themselves and work on that, because they are right. They have leadership potential.
Oh, I love that. Well, I grew up in the 70s and the 60s as well. And by the time I got into the workforce, I was stunned to realize that despite the women's movement of the 70s and all the progress that had been made, women were being hired into higher level positions, yes, but still expected to take notes in meetings for everyone and perform tasks that men in leadership were not expected to do. And that was shocking and insulting. I'm sure you've seen the same.
The first time when I was at one of the Chamber Board of Directors meetings, the women who were staff had set everything up and they'd put the coffee on the table, and everybody, then they called the meeting, and all of these men went to the table, and they were, I think, kind of shocked that I did too, and sat down and joined that group. So from that day forward, I think that there was a recognition that something was different. It took me a long time to learn how to speak that language. I call it speaking male. But one learns, and after a while, I knew I could just speak the way I do, which is normal in my view.
Well, Martha, you and I spoke earlier this year, and you said that women have held in their hands the tools for effective leadership from time immemorial. Women bring the multitude of talents they employ as mothers, homemakers, and people balancing all the demands of others in our lives, often unpaid and unappreciated, into the professional realm. We're supremely prepared for the stresses imposed by leadership at every level. We know how to exercise leadership by using the competencies we've always used. So what I hear you saying is that a woman's leadership style may be different from a man's, but equally effective.
About 20 years ago, we came to that understanding. We started asking the question, how do women lead? And we did a national research project. We pulled together a group of recognized leaders to look through and sift through the information we got. And we came up with 8 strings, or what we call principles of leadership, that belong now to the ATHENA Leadership Model. And I'm just going to reiterate what you said, Bonnie. These days, some of these principles are showing up in the studies of leadership that are being done everywhere. People are starting to recognize, no matter what field they're in, that being authentic, knowing who you are, who am I, and knowing your own values is an essential part of leadership. So that's just one of those principles. I think it's maybe the toughest one, because we keep changing as our responsibilities change, as the pressures that we have in our professional lives and personal lives keep changing. So it's important to keep checking in and finding out, what are my values? What am I working on to make myself even a better leader? And so living authentically is the first one of those principles that we discovered in this model. But it is, I think, a model for the 21st century. And I think it's gradually going to replace the command and control kind of leadership that has been taught and assumed to be the way to be for literally centuries.
Well, I am sure you're right. And authenticity is one of the great qualities that's so valued today. And today, the ATHENA Leadership Program exists in 11 countries. More than 8,000 women have been acknowledged worldwide since the program began. Famous Athenas include Olympic swimmer Ann Warner, who received a medal in 1960, the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's known for her strong voice in favor of gender equality, and NASA astronaut Christina Koch, who set a record for the longest single space flight by a woman with a total of 328 days in space. And those who are nominated for the ATHENA Award should realize that they are among history-making women.
Receiving an ATHENA Award is an unforgettable experience for virtually everyone I've ever spoken with who is a recipient. And that brings up an important point. We don't call these people who are honored with this award winners, because if there are winners, it implies that there are losers.
Yes.
That is what we're doing here. What we're doing is lifting up one to honor her and have her demonstrate what leadership looks like right next to us. And so we call them recipients. And I hope that the people at your Quad Cities celebration will understand the difference between a winner and a recipient.
Oh, very well said. As always, Martha, it's such a joy to spend time with you and an honor to know you. As you know, we do have this event coming up in the Prescott area, the Quad Cities ATHENA Awards. We also have it in the Flagstaff areas as well, and I know in places all over the country, thanks to you. We so appreciate your lifelong commitment to making life better for women by supporting, encouraging, and recognizing women and the good work they're doing in leadership, in business, and in their communities. Martha, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Bonnie. And by the way, congratulations as also an honored recipient.
Aw, well, thank you so much, and thank you for making it possible. It really means the world to me, and it made me realize what a responsibility as well as an honor it is to be part of that program. Thank you so much,
Thank
Martha.
you.
To find out more about the ATHENA Leadership Program, go to ATHENAinternational.org. I asked an ATHENA program sponsor why she felt the need to support the ATHENA program. Vonda Chisholm, the executive director of Northland Cares in Prescott, said, "Women have fought long and hard for centuries to improve their status in society, to become educated, and to hold positions in the workforce that demonstrate their intelligence, strength, and abilities. It's our responsibility today to keep up the momentum. We need to be the role models who leave legacies for those women coming up behind us so that they too will leave powerful legacies for future women leaders." Well said, Vonda. This is Zonie Living, Business, Adventure, and Leadership. I'm Bonnie Stevens.